Let's speak now with Latvia's Foreign Minister, Baiba Braže. Thank you, Minister, very much for joining us here on BBC News. Now, Ukraine says Russia's demands show it's not serious about a ceasefire deal. What's your view?
I don't think we saw anything particularly new in this round of so-called talks. Russia is playing the old Soviet game of so-called negotiations, which is putting impossible demands, then blaming the other side for not accepting them, never compromising, pushing as far as it can in the conviction that the West will give in and they will get something. So this is typical. This was already in the Soviet times, and now it's the same. So we just have to know that if we want peace, Russia will have to be pushed to peace, because there is no indications they want peace. And they bluffed their way through. They blamed Ukraine, they blamed the West, they want to split the West, they want to split US from Europe. There is a whole set of objectives that the butchering Kremlin was trying to get through the war. It's not happening, so he's trying to get through peace talks.
Do you think
it's not going to happen, is my guess. So,
do you think the attack that we saw with the Ukrainian drones on Russia yesterday is an example of Ukraine sort of saying we're not waiting for these talks to happen, we're just going ahead with or without our partners to further things along?
Listen, Russia is not getting its objectives through the war. It has turned the so-called three-day war into a three-year catastrophe, quite clearly. It will be 1 million lost soldiers killed and wounded in these weeks. Economy is stalling. The overall situation in Russia is not very favorable to continuation of the wars. They are getting barely kilometers from Ukrainian territory. And that's not the objective. The objective was to subjugate Ukraine, and that's not going to happen. Ukraine is standing strong. Ukraine is defending herself. They have nowhere to go. It's their territory, it's their people. They are defending themselves. They will continue doing so. Obviously, we all want peace. Ukraine, most of all, wants peace. So we fully support President Trump in that quest for peace. But again, how to get there is to make sure that we are strong ourselves as allies nationally through NATO, that we spend on defense in the Baltics and Poland and others will spend 5% next year of GDP. Second point is that we have to weaken Russia. We have to make sure that Russia's economy, from which it finances the war, its military capabilities are degraded, and that's what Ukrainians are doing. And the third point is we have to make sure that Ukraine is strong, that Ukraine has ability to use its almost 1 million strong army to defend herself. So it's supplying military aid, financial aid, humanitarian and political aid.
One of the quests that Volodymyr Zelensky has is NATO membership. Of course, you're a former Assistant Secretary General of NATO. That's one of Russia's demands, that NATO membership be off the table. Ukraine has been invited to the NATO summit later this month. It doesn't yet have a formal invitation to join NATO. Might that be forthcoming?
Listen, it's in accordance with Article 10 of the Washington Treaty, which is NATO's founding treaty. It's quite straightforward. Its countries in Europe can apply for membership. They have to comply with certain criteria, and then it's NATO's allies' decision whether to accept it. And that's what it is. If Ukraine, as European country, wants to join, it has the right to join. It has to comply with certain criteria, has to strengthen Euro-Atlantic security, and then it's up to the NATO members to decide whether Ukraine should be the member. It's nobody else's business. It's neither Russia's nor nobody else's business. And if there is a consensus, there will be an invite for Ukraine. If there is no consensus among NATO members, there won't be an invite for now. Baltic states also waited quite a bit to get an invite, but we got it.
Would you like to see one issued to Ukraine?
We strongly support Ukraine's membership. We do think that Ukraine will be actually contributing to NATO's deterrence. We all know that Ukraine has a strong army, strong capabilities. As we saw from the operations that they did on the Russian strategic aviation, technologically advanced, very precise, like microsurgery, but also purely on military objects. So pretty straightforward military operation, and it was very successful. Plus, Ukraine has been able to defend herself for more than 3 years against a nation that is several-fold bigger. Ukraine had 40 million inhabitants, Russia 140 million, and it's a nuclear state, and it still has not been able to advance on more than 19% on Ukrainian territory since 2014. So Ukraine is a good candidate for NATO membership, and yes, we would like to see an invitation issued. But again, we have to make sure that there is peace first. So pushing Russia to peace is what we have to concentrate our minds on.
Okay, all right. Latvian Foreign Minister Baiba Braže, thank you very much for speaking to us here on BBC News.
Thank you so much for having me.